Another day, another chance to be able to see amazing plays here at the Origin Series. Who'll be your casters? I'm Yuko. Alongside me is Riku.
Yeah, it's going to be another exciting day number 2 of the Origin Series. We've managed to get a lot of upsets, actually, starting from yesterday, and I don't think the upsets are going to stop right there. It's going to continue here in day number 2.
We definitely will be seeing more of that. But of course, before we jump into the Origin Series August finals, let's take a step back and look at the highlights way back in June month.
Yeah, this is the part where we saw a lot of exciting stuff, especially when we talk about the fights from yesterday. We've managed to see, Pantheon being such a huge priority because of the semi-global ult. There's also the Gragas being, more open now, being more open for the teams to take. We talked about the semi-global ults. We see Twisted Fate and as well as mentioned earlier, a Pantheon. But I feel like Xin Zhao still hasn't fallen off. It still has been one of the popular junglers in the Origin series. But something to take note of, though, is how Akali, despite the changes here and there in previous patches, depending if used by a mechanically skilled player, they still manage to shine.
What nerf, what energy adjustment. They don't care, especially Risk here. We did see him being able to win that 2v1, and a lot more Akali picks happened right after that. And they like to touch up on what you said. Xin Zhao still a very high prioritized champion if ever Gragas got banned, because, well, their ultimates focuses more mostly on this engage. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing more Seraphine picks. I mean, Encore, maybe you're going to be seeing the usual Seraphine plus Nami combo.
Yeah, the tidal wave and the encore is absolutely deadly. It is a big blanket of AoE CC that you will most likely not will not be able to escape from, rather. But I think one of the highlights as well is the Ashe pick. I think it really enables pick compositions, just because if you assemble a 1-3-1 setup, you have the Ashe who's able to again create these opportunities with the arrow from far away, get that pick, and then Viola, you get a perfect 4v5 scenario off of the map.
In day 1, actually, the cores were forced to pick up QSS just to make sure that if ever the arrow gets sent out and they did get hit, they will not suffer the dreadful number of seconds that they cannot move. Will we see more Ashe picks? Will we see more Xin Zhao picks? Yes, I think so. But let's talk about the bans. I guess Camille is definitely one of the most banned champions here, aside from the usual, I don't know, maybe the Ziggs here and there, as well as the Olaf. But I did mention day number 1. Let's take a step back and look at the highlights from yesterday.
We were very pissed that we didn't win the finals of July. So we developed new strategies, we expanded the champion pool, which is very important, and we worked also on our macro and on communication a bit, but we could work more on this one.
In comes the Galio again, zoning away the core queues down to almost no HP. They burn through yet another double kill. The Viol's still online. Should be able to burn through 69, and this is what happens. Cut. They've overcommitted, and Sunlight has slayed their opponent.
I think the July finals was a different experience for us than the June ones. We actually ended up falling in the winners finals in July, so we had to crawl up from the losers bracket. That made the July finals a much more intense experience overall.
Oh, the flash, there we go.
No.
We've seen that one before. The flash thought they missed the arrow, but still managed to go down. Oh my god, Andre gets away? No way. Finally gets himself killed off by I think the red ticking away from Doom, or maybe it was the smite. I'm not quite sure. Either way, they're cleaning house.
Obviously, it's a nice journey to have because you are playing and competing against the best players in Europe. In the end, I would say the progression was that you learn a lot about yourself. It's not like typical ranked. It's not like solo queue. You're just, I don't know, going into a ranked and playing there. No, it's like something completely different. Like you have to care about different things, and that's what you learn in the Origin series.
Yeah, we've definitely been showing clear, slow and steady progress. Like for instance, if I can even go further back into the June qualifiers when we were still LFO white, we finished 12th. In the July, we finished 9th or 8th, and now we're looking to finish in the top 6. So yeah, there's definitely a clear trajectory of progress right now. So we want to keep that going so that we can carry on looking forward to improving and becoming better, and hopefully being signed to OG sooner rather than later.
One word from that video I could pick up is progress. Starting from the bottom, they will aim for a higher place in this month. It's very highly likely to happen.
Yeah, I felt like, it's definitely not an isolated case for a lot of these teams. They started off pretty far in the rankings and now has been climbing up, even landing a lot of upsets from the performances that we've seen back in June and in July and now August. It seems to be very, very spicy so far.
Definitely. And now, since we've been seeing the teams and the players, let's now take a quick peek at our brackets A to C, upper and lower. If you see the teams that you are supporting, do not forget to share the live stream and, of course, invite your friends to watch this live or the series. This is the month of August, rather. Group A for the upper bracket, you have No Team, No Talent, and Cream, Real Betis. You also have Game Lord and then Team Queso.
Yeah, so far in the upper bracket, these 4 teams, again, have been top 4 already in the June Origin series. So, this is not a surprise at all. So, curious to see which team will be able to, sort of take down the Titans of Group A, which is No Team, No Talent.
Definitely. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing what kind of power play or meta will they show us this time around. But now this is the lower bracket for Group A. We have We're Future and Poet Lorette. We also have Road to Top... Wait, I like this team name. Road to Top 1 and Team Singularity.
Yeah, that's what that's what we saw earlier. Simple said that, okay, we're trying to get this trajectory to literally what our team name is, and they can definitely do it as we take a look, of course, at the whole day, see how they progress up against Team Singularity.
Let's see, will they be able to just win with that streak, or will we be seeing new faces? Speaking of new faces, you guys saw this team yesterday, Supermassive Blaze being able to win their series. Now they advance to the upper bracket for Group B, and they will be up against Footballist right after that. As you can see, we have Bal Esport as well as BK Rogue Esports.
Yeah, it's a massive, super massive upset against Unicorns of Love. Take note, EOL has been the top team since June and July in Group B. So this is a very exciting bracket that we're looking at right now. And of course, Navi, they came pretty close. They landed top 4 as well in the July Origin Series finals. So it's going to be interesting how far they go. Maybe top 2, maybe, because of the super massive upset that we saw yesterday, it could be a little bit different from what we've seen before.
And the last group, of course, you'll be moving on to Group C, upper bracket. The usual teams, we have Team Occupy and GK Esports. This is the first teams for our first series. They actually have a pretty tough bracket here, and these 2 teams were the ones that made it out of there alive. Let's take a look at the lower brackets now. For Group C, we have Cud Esports and Wick 47.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know we say spicy all the time because it really is. Cut Esports, Sunlight, they've been constantly top 2 since June, then July, but this time it's a different story. They're now both bumped down to the lower bracket by both Team Occupy and as well as GK Esports from yesterday's upset in that 2-1 fashion. So maybe we get to see more 2-1s today, and it's really, day 1 really set up the stage for sure in the upcoming days of the Origin Series.
Highly likely. Actually, I've already prepared my shark intense music for our games in this day too. But we did mention Team Occupy and of course GK Esports. Let's take a look at the schedule for day number 2. What 3 series will we witness for the day? Of course, the other 2 series will be revealed later on. But for now, it's going to be Team Occupy versus GK. We saw GK yesterday was able to get a series win. Let's see, are they going to stick with their guns or will they show us something new?
Yeah, I feel like we might see their strengths at the pick compositions for sure. Maybe we get to see the Ashe again in the Pantheon. So those are my possible predictions for the series on the first series of the night.
My money's on Pantheon too, but we have been talking about day 1. Let's take a step back and see a video about the thoughts of the players from Origin Series month of August, day 1.
Hi, I'm Renation. I'm the ADC from Cream Real Betis, and here we are in the gaming house. The first day, it's always really fun. We finish up winning 2-0 both series, so it's super good for us.
Hello, I'm Prince. I play in BK Rogue Esports. and my main role is Dragon Lane. We played our first game against Les Lions. We won versus them. And second game was a much stronger opponent, Digital Athletics. We get ready for it, and we won.
My name is Jackson, and I'm an analyst for GK Esports.
Saya saying goodbye. Now you have Riven being able to take Galio down. Double kill going over to Xenon.
Our day started with salty potatoes, and we take a convincing 2-0 victory. And following that, we're up against the favorite in our group, Cut Esports, that we also managed to win 2-1 against.
They are just gonna focus on to the Nexus. 6-9, not sure if he will be able to defend that one, but you have...
And I'm just insanely happy that we finally managed to get the result that I feel like deserved.
We had 2 good games. At day 1, we played Fox Gaming and Singularity. Pretty smooth. I think the final will probably between us Gamelord and NTNT.
Nottingham Talent is like probably the best players in each position. They are like the best team here in Europe right now because they are really good in micro, in mechanics. They take a lead and you cannot do anything after that. But yeah, that's what we have to avoid. I mean, we are here on the gaming house just to have an extra motivation to make it possible.
I'm Lonely Kid, Baron Laner for the Papara Supermassive Blaze, and next to me is Bambi. He is my jungle. It's good for us because we won the 2 games. In all series, we are not the favorite team, but we win.
Massive, just showing the power that gold has given them.
We are happy. We win.
Lonely Kid not looking too lonely because he has his 4 other pals with him in that interview. That was so cute. And that is the team that actually had a lot of eyes on them in day number 1. We'll be seeing more of them as the day progresses. But for now, again, we're going to jump into the first series in a bit. But Riku, what are your predictions for our first series?
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Day 1 was the upset stage and it will be the trendsetter. It will be how the following days are going to end. So I feel like more upsets today for sure. And I'm looking forward to what's going to happen for at least day number 2 first.
I am preparing myself for 3 games, honestly. 3 series, 3 games. Come on, we got this. I mean, we were prepared for this moment. But of course, let's just hop into team rosters for our team, Occupy, as well as GK Esports. Dun, 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 dun. I told you I'm gonna do the shark intense music there. This is the team rosters for our series number 1. For Team Occupy, you have Pika, I Can't Stop Cry, 2, Woody for the win, and Ahmad. For GK, we saw these guys yesterday. We have Hasty, Moha, Jotrex, Sultanos, and Furax.
Yeah, these 2 teams, have been constantly battling towards the top 2 spot. And we saw GK, last time from June to July, they landed 4th place and then 3rd place. It is clearly an uphill climb for this team as both of these teams actually was able to land that upset up against Cut and Sunlight. So cannot wait to see how this series is going to go.
2 teams that were able to do an upset. Let's see who will be able to win when they're going to be duking out against each other. So without further ado, let's hop into the pick and ban phase. Ari ban. Just kidding. We could be seeing a Gragas ban here. Pantheon, yes, no, but I think teams here prefer picking up Pantheon for themselves. J4 is going to be the first ban for GK.
Yeah, this is super interesting because we've seen the J4 top lane as well from yesterday, but it doesn't necessarily has managed to produce results, but it is nice to have. Jarvan ban also enables an Olaf pick because Jarvan has been, that soft counter. Press Ragnarok, you just activate and put in the Dome, the Cataclysm, just to keep him in check. Now, Seraphine being banned as well. That means Occupy is expecting an Olaf pick coming in, but that means Nami's still available. Lulu is also still available to get paired up with an Olaf.
Oh, okay.
Never mind.
Right on
The
cue.
Lulu's out.
Nope.
Okay.
Looks like we still have Nami. Don't worry, Riku. Your prediction will still be on point. There is going to be a Wukong ban, which opens up Xinjiao for GK. That is going to be the first pick. You have a team occupied. They could pick up, I was about to say, Olaf or Corki, but they will get their hands on this Corki and maybe get a mid laner support. They're going to go with Braum.
Yeah, they want to secure the support first. They want to secure the disengage because looking at GK's priority pick, which is the Xin Zhao, means that they're going to go with either heavy skirmish and full-on aggression. That is definitely their trajectory. Now, the Nami as well. We talked about this before. It's really good for both disengage and engage because of the tidal wave and a lot of kit on the board. And you add in a disengage tool like the Gragas. This is looking to be a scary skirmish to team fight, depending on what GK decides to dish out, or rather select for their AD carry.
I feel like it's going to be a difficult late game for Team Occupy just because you have two disengagers for the side of GK. We talked about this. Ashe and, of course, the Akali. You'll be seeing both these champions on GK side. Now, you have Renekton, and finally, you have Olaf for the side of Team Occupy, most likely going over to jungle.
Yeah, I totally forgot. You don't have the Lulu, you don't have the Seraphine. Okay, you have the classic Orianna that has been paired constantly as well back in League PC. Just because you have that movement speed, you have the shields as well to enable Olaf to survive a little bit more. The easy shockwave setups as well with Ragnarok and just diving into the backline. So I love this from Team Occupy as well.
I have my eyes on that Orianna. Well, most of the times here in the Origin series, when there's an Orianna, you bet that we will be seeing a highlight plays. And I guess for the other side, I am looking forward to seeing how this Xinjiao will be able to go up against this Olaf. Is he gonna go with the counter jungle? Is he gonna try to gank as much lanes as he can? Questions will be answered because now let's go into game number 1. Game number 1 or the up. Again, this is just its first series. To those who just entered the stream, hello, why are you late? But don't worry, it's okay. We hope you will enjoy the matches that we have in store for you guys.
And now this is the classic GK from yesterday, right? They wanted to set this up with the Ashe. That means they're opting for more of this pick composition. We're looking at a 1-3-1 setup. Maybe Xenon pushing the side lanes as well. Maybe Sultanas once he gets ahead. And they were just going to pressure all these lanes into the later stages of the game while relying on the hawk shot for vision. Take note, 2.3, Ashe's hawk shot has been buffed. The easily maneuvering of the arrow has been buffed as well. So this is the formula that has worked, especially against Cut Esports yesterday.
Yeah, a lot of arrows will go in favor of Ashe. Now, this is just a pretty standard start. I guess the Gragas versus Renekton is going to be a pretty intense lane. But for the early game, Renekton will have the early lead only if Gragas will not play this one out safely. But for the usual 2v2s here at the Dragon lane side, you have the Unbreakable being popped up by Braum, arrows being kited here and there, but no actual commitments from both teams.
This is going to be a little bit tough for Furax, or rather, no, this is going to be a little bit tough for Woody and as well as Amma, just because, again, it is a support range versus melee matchup. The fact that the volleys coming from Furax are going to be painful, and in the mid lane, there's a little bit of a tussle here, and 2 should be a little bit careful. Good news, he does have barrier and that extra shield, but it doesn't change the fact that the ganks possibly coming from Sultanos could enable, but looks like topside will be the potential gank instead, but no, a little bit too far for Sultanos to reach.
He got spotted out there, so he just decided to say goodbye. Undertow is going to connect onto the Mermaid, onto Nami, but that is going to be a very low Olaf, so he will not take his chances. Not sure if she's going to rotate over to the mid lane, but you have the Twilight Shroud being sent out by this Akali, by Xenon, and she is just going to focus on getting more gold, more EXP, whereas she is going to leave Orianna to just spend and take the minion waves.
It's a little bit difficult for sure. Because again, we've got Tamola just having to manage to roam in the mid lane.
Oh no,
Wow.
Renekton being very, very low. Just one more auto attack. You have Hasty. He is chasing. He wants to get that first blood. But remember, Olaf is lurking at the side. He decided to not overstay his welcome. Here comes Olaf. Hi. Hello. I can't stop crying. Decided to just take a step back. That is a juicy target. But he just had his Ragnarok up. Decided to just not try and force things.
I think that's that's a pretty sweet win. The fact that barrier has been dropped already means that Pika will be vulnerable in this lane. Good news, he still has managed to keep his flash on, so he has to be careful. Hazet is open for a potential flash body slam setup up against Pika. And now look at this poke. We talked about this before. This is a very tough dual lane matchup. There's just so much pokes from the Nami, there's so much sustain, and the volleys just hurt so much.
Definitely. And I guess that's one of the reasons why we're not seeing any proactive plays from Woody as well as Ahmad there, even though he does have the shield already up. Command Protect popped out by 2 here. Very aggressive mid laners, if I must say. We're just under 4 minutes. Volley has been popped. First Dragon as well as Rift Herald will be up in 25 seconds. No one is actually rotating there just yet, but it looks like GK will be able to go with the reset. That is going to be the Call of the Meek being popped, and no actual force or no actual commitment just yet. Gragas will just fall back.
This is very important. Again, Infernal Drake is the first dragon to spawn. That means both of these teams are going to be hungry to get that instead of that Rift Herald. They want both of that, again, that big damage bonus, especially in the side of GK, again, because they're opting for this 1-3-1. They're opting for more of the 1v1s. Oh, Ahmad.
Hello, bro. That is going to be flash out. Will it be enough? The arrow is not going to be enough. 105% coming through. That's with the first one going over to Akali. Now you have Brom saying goodbye. Here comes this Orianna just at the front line. You also have Corki. Alongside them will be Olaf. Not Tidal Wave. The Aqua Pistol will be sent out. It did not connect. And now Team Occupy will just lurk at the sides. They could and they should try to go with the steal. But how can they do that? The range from GK's lineup is definitely long.
Yeah, they want to be a little bit worried here, despite, it was a potentially or temporary 4v5 situation. The death timers at this point of the game is relatively short. But now, Infernal Drake starting for the second time. GK wants the first tower, but the Infernal Drake is getting started. It's already started by Occupy.
Not sure if that is going to be worth it, but at least Dragon is not taken. Now, just as Red Team was able to get that Infernal Drake, now you have these special delivery being popped out by Corki. Looking at the sides, you have Ash just kiting, chasing from the back lines. You have Ragnarok being taken down. Graga saying goodbye. Ash being able to get one kill. Now you have Renekton just chasing a Xin Zhao. That is a double kill going over to Pika. And now the 1v1s again. Assassin versus the robot, but no one gets bursted down unless Orianna still lurking. The Twilight Shot has been powered, and he does do the flash in and was able to finish off that kill. Killing spree going over to Xenon. Another 1v1. Here comes Renekton. That is gonna be the pierce through Ari onto Akali, but a shutdown. The kill going over to Corki.
Yeah, that's a really nice win for Occupy. The fact that they got the Infernal plus a double kill on the Renekton means it could mean disaster for GK. Now, this could be round 2 of another fight. Rift Herald, half HP already, by the way, as I Can't Stop Cry is nearby the side, but I don't think they can reach this.
I don't think they can. And I mean, you have the volley still coming through for Ash, just making sure they'll be nowhere near the Rift Herald. And Xin Zhao will have their hands on this objective. Gatling gun being sent out by Corki. 3 champions holding the mid lane, making sure that GK will not be able to ascend. Renekton was able to push the waves in. Are they gonna actually answer to the challenge? Xenon saying hi, hello. He does not have the perfect execution, so I don't think he will commit.
Let's take a look at that replay again once more. This is the Infernal Drake, basically, because GK decided to push for First Blood Tower, they didn't actually get First Blood Tower because they decided, okay, they're starting the Infernal, what do we do? But it was, at the end of the day, Occupy splitting the fight into half. Pika was able to get that double kill, isolating basically the squishy targets, and this is exactly what he wants. I want to talk about Xenon's play here. He was so patient to wait for the Twilight Shroud to come in, then get a bunch of energy on the board to be able to reach the Orianna and eliminate him. And with that said, right now, I still feel like Pika could be the biggest thing, the biggest threat up against GK, considering he got 2-0-1 in that fight. And right now, that is the tower now getting taken down by GK. They're able to at least open up the map even more as the mid lane and the bottom portion of the map is gone. Ahmed will be the casualty over there, as GK will be happy about that one, considering that, again, they lost the Infernal. They want to open the map even more, make up for that that happening from earlier. Take a look at the replay and how it all started. As again, this is the second time Ahmed has been caught out all alone in the jungle, and it's the lack of vision that makes things so hard for Ahmed to proceed and put down and plant down these wards. And now there's another fight happening over here, as I Can't Stop Cry unfortunately will cry from that death as he's unable to save himself. Not even able to, not even the Ragnarok was able to save him there. And GK, they are angry. They want this second dragon.
They definitely are angry. I mean, the fact that Xenon can just solo kill an Olaf just like that says a lot. Ocean is going to be up. Now you have a Team GK with their eyes on this juicy dragon. Team Occupy, of course, will try to contest this, but you still have the Olaf with the explosive cast. That is going to be the Aqua connecting onto one. Unbreakable coming through for Braum. Blue team being able to get the dragon. That is going to be a flash in, a jump in. Glacier Fish connecting onto one, but that is an Akali. She can just jump her way out, being able to use Flash. She still has a barrier. A lot of ults already being spent by Team Occupy. Jump in, tidal wave connecting onto the explosive cast. A 4-man shockwave connecting onto GK. What could they do next? You have the damage consistently being dished out by the team in the color blue. Another stun coming through. That is gonna be the damage being too much for them. It was a 3-0 in favor of GK.
I gotta say, Tamala's bubbles, 2 heavy-hitting bubbles, have opened up the opportunity to fight back against Occupy's onslaught. Let's take a look at that again. Beautiful overlaying of CCs with the Glacial Fissure and as well as the package, but the bubble coming from the Nami was just so beautiful. It punishes Occupy for being too close. Shockwave comes in, but no follow-up because the rest of the carries from the backline of Occupy were pretty much far away, so it left Pika all alone under tower without any sort of backup.
Sadly, even though that was a very good highlight play, there was no follow-up because, like what you said, they were quite far away from each other. That's the reason why GK was able to win that very small skirmish. Twilight Shroud being sent out by Akali just to try and hide their location, but I don't think they could go with the pick-off. Baron is already up now. You have the Call of the Meek being thrown out by Renekton, and here, of course, he still has the Slice and Dice. Still has his ultimate if ever Gragas will try to challenge him to a 1v1, but other than that, the other members are just spread evenly all throughout the map.
Yeah, it is the start of the 1-3-1 that we're talking about. And the fact that Xenon is able to get, 5-1-3 already 11 minutes into the game. Expect cross-map arrows from Furax to open up an opportunity for a pick, especially around Xenon's lane, whatever he's going to try to split push. The fact that he picks up a third item, Rabadons, and then a teleport means, will it be expecting him forcing fights, GK possibly forcing fights as well, or Occupy has to be wary of, them trying to engage here and there because, again, Xenon is massive.
Winter's Bite connecting onto Ashe, but you also have the ebb and flow from this Nami. Now you have Shinji on the front line being able to get that Glacier Fish connecting onto 2. You also have the cast being thrown out by Gragas. Now you have the tidal wave coming through. Heals is right there, but that's to be another 4-man shockwave going over to Orianna. Jump in, flash in. Now GK is forced to just disengage. You have the Hawk shot being thrown out by Ashe. Vision given, but Team Occupy being able to get the better trade of that bargain.
Yeah, no jungler for the side of GK. That means Occupy wants to take this dragon or Baron down. And there's the teleport coming in, of course, coming from Pika. That means that Xenon is just going to keep pushing towards this second tier tower. No, that means they want to fight. There's a teleport coming in.
They really do want to, but looks like it was a tad bit too late. But the enchanted crystal arrow connecting onto one. They are too far though. Now Team Occupy will still be able to get away. The sacrifices of I Can't Stop Cry is worth it. He got executed, but they were able to get the Baron.
Yeah, I feel like, it's pretty worth it. It all started because of this topside fight. Really nicely done by Hazet on the explosive cast, just scattering pretty much everybody from GK, or rather, coming from Occupy. But that shockwave was just a game changer in that fight. Really nicely done by 2, and there's just so many low health targets, and they even got the jungler, Sultanas. And that is what equalized to this Baron take. Now Dragon has spawned. That means Mountain Drake. That means shields that GK would lovingly want because of the pokes coming from Woody here on this Corki. And at this point, we'll see though, as the Baron buff, of course, Occupy wants to maximize this as much as they can.
I saw Xin Zhao and Ash trying to make their way down in the Dragon's Pit, so I thought they were gonna commit to taking the objective, but looks like they want to go with the hunt. Olaf still has the Ragnarok and Flo connecting onto one. You have the souls coming through from Nami. Nami trying to most likely just zone Olaf out, but I don't think she is gonna commit with the follow. Gatling on being popped by Corki. Of course, the team Occupy would want to get their hands on an objective. They already have Infernal Drake. Tralishar being popped by Akali at the sides. Red team being able to get Mountain Drake, but at what cost? I was about to say the mid lane, but looks like they were able to respond just the right time. That Lord being sent out. Again, you have the glitch if you're connecting onto the side of Team Occupy. Rampage going over to Corki. Even look at that Olaf chasing down Gragas, chasing down Xin Zhao. You have Renekton lurking at the sides, and Team Occupy, they are moving as a unit, pushing GK back. 5 members at the mid lane just storming, taking down turrets. The sugar flip is not gonna connect, but Team Occupy, they don't care. They want to play the objective game. Tralishar being sent out. That is to be the passive. Assassin's Mark being procced by Akali, but it's not gonna be enough. Gatling being popped again. That is small bombs going here and there, but Team Occupy, they're still going at it. Balisam connecting onto one. They are not going back. That is gonna be a quick disengage coming through from Sultanos.
Yeah, Occupy was ready to take another tower down, but they were running out of time. Forax and Tamola was just pretty much close, and the arrow will hit 2.
Stun, flash in, jump in, and the assassin making waves and making things happen. Killing spree going over to Akali. Shockwave being popped as well, but Oriana was the one that got bursted down. It was a 2-0 in favor of GK.
This is so back and forth. At first, you think that Occupy would most likely maybe get a second tower down. 28 seconds on the clock pretty much for the carries to spawn back. So it's all up to these 3 members to defend. And it seems to me GK is able to open up the map and equalize it rather. And this time around, we'll see what the play is going to be. 20 seconds till the next Baron is spawned. Both of these teams have mid lanes almost open. And the arrow, again, because Occupy pretty much overstayed their welcome. They wanted to get a little bit greedy and see if they can get another tower down. But take note, Xenon, his shurikens pretty much hurt at this point as well. Hazet does have that wave clear. And again, Occupy just wanted to get more, but lost more in the process.
Akali really going to work in this game, number 1. I mean, look at that Xenon. Look at the stats on this guy. 6-1 on an Akali, on an assassin. He is having a beautiful game. But one of the things that Team Occupy could do is invest a handful of CCs and try to just stop Akali from doing or making any play happen. They need to maybe just commit the stuns from Renekton and just pick her off. But the problem here is she barely does the split push. I mean, she's down in the Dragon lane right now. But if you just get one good kill, put shutdown in, that is going to be a lot of gold going over in your pocket after person being sent out. Olaf not minding, not trying to even go with the pickoff, and Team Occupy looking for the next possible opening.
Yeah, the opening that Occupy can take is that their Corki is 5-1-1. Already has what? Essence Reaver, Solari Charge Blade, Infinity Edge. So the crits are massive, especially once the Radiant stacks kick in. A 1v1 at Dragon Lane, perhaps. But again, this is Xenon being huge in this game. Pika can't risk to blow a Guardian Angel, because that Guardian Angel will be needed in this Baron. As we can see, Occupy already starting it.
And looks like GK, well, Nami at the very least, was able to give vision to his team. Are they going to go with the reset? I believe they should just commit to this. Teleports are going to come through. That is going to be the flash being used by Oriana. Oriana being taken down. You have a lot of ultimates being sent. Now you have the Octopus connecting onto one. Looking at the back lines, Akali being able to escape, but he was able to assassinate one at that. Let's see, Olaf being very, very low. He was able to get a double kill. Corky saying goodbye. Ash being taken down by the crocodile. And the life of Akali, or Akali's head going over to Olaf. It was a 3-2 in favor still of GK.
This is such a close game. It's just 3 gold difference in favor of GK. Now that the Elder Drake is spawned, but Ahmad may get caught out here.
Well, this time connecting onto Braum. I mean, Aqua isn't connecting there as well. He does have the Unbreakable, but here comes Olaf on their toe. Still has the Ragnarok, still has Flash. He is gonna pop the ultimate, and he is just storming the front line. 2v3, Unbreakable being popped, Flash being used by Braum as well. He no longer has a heal. At the very least, Team Occupy being able to survive that skirmish.
I really think that was worth. Occupy was able to buy some time. That means GK is unable to pursue this Elder Drake as well. Now that, the rest of the squad pretty much already complete as 5s, Occupy still has to see if they can defend this Elder Drake for themselves. Again, constantly, it has been a tug-of-war of these team fights, whether who wins the numbers advantage or not. But the biggest thing is Xenon. Xenon is such a scary player at the moment. Again, he is massive. The fact that no one from Occupy are carrying QSSs, they carry Zhonya's. This is only to prepare against Xenon and not to prepare against any CC like the Bubble, like the Crystal Arrow rather. And now this is the Dragon dance that we're seeing at the moment.
A Dragon dance indeed. That is going to be Gragas using his body slam to jump away from Olaf. But they're both of the teams rather are just waiting for an opening. Corky's going to go in with the recalls. You have Akali in charge of split push duty, and Renekton will just follow her until the end of the world. And this one is going to connect on to Xin Zhao. But again, no actual commitment from both sides. Volley is being used by Ash as well. I don't know why, but I think I would like to see a Baron or a Dragon Seal from Ash using the arrow. That's possible, but I'm not sure we're going to be seeing it anytime soon. Would have been a good highlight though.
Yeah, I feel like, the Crystal Arrow would be reserved just to try and set up for Xenon as he split pushes in the side lanes. Like right now, Xenon is 1 level ahead of Pika. And it's so difficult. A collapse could actually happen here. Look at the Hawk Shot being sent out. They know this is happening.
Akali's gonna be boxed in. No, you have 5 Champions right behind you, being able to pop these Zombies at the perfect time. He is still alive. Now you have Team Occupy chasing down GK. Beautiful arrow though from Ash, and Team Occupy not being able to get the kill that they wanted. They will just have their eyes on this Elder Drake. But you know what? GK, they want to fight. You have this tidal wave being sent out. Will be cancelled by the Unbreakable, but Braum is the first one to get taken down. Gatligan being sent out by Cork. He's the back line. Akali saying goodbye. Double kill going over to Ash. Now you have the GA rather of this Ash being popped in. She still gets taken down by the Corky. Renekton chasing down Gragas, chasing down Nami. I'm not sure if he is gonna commit though, but it was a 3-3 in favor of no one, and the Dragon is still up. Corky is right there trying. I'm not sure if they will be able to get this, but I think they would want to get their hands on the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, they're starting it pretty fast. It's already half HP. There's 2 people pursuing it, with one only trying to see if they can stop this from happening. Maybe a steal because there are no junglers. This could be 50-50.
The cask will be up in a few more seconds. But I'm connecting onto one. Shields coming through from Corky. The damage was too much. Even though Nami sent out the tidal wave, it will not be able to secure the kill. At the very least, they were able to reset the Elder Dragon just in time for GK to jump in with the teleports. Now, Akali focusing onto Corky. Corky saying goodbye. 5-point strike. Shuriken flip. And now the arrow is going to come through, connecting onto their enemies. Blue team being able to steal the Elder Dragon. What amazing comms from the man in blue. Now Renekton is forced to get away with just the slither of his health.
Whoa, what is happening? That was, Occupy's they tried to pursue this dragon. They were able to eliminate Hazet. Now another teleport coming in. That's coming from Pika, and the Baron's getting started. But look how low health GK is. And Xenon could possibly be all along, but he's fine for now. And so far, it has been the dance. Look at topside, though. That is going to go down. Look how many that is. I'm great at math. That's probably like 6 cannon minions pushing through. Pika used his teleport. Now he's forced to go back, and now Ahmed gets the arrow.
Perfect execution being popped in there, but it's not enough to actually burst Braum down. Right after taking down, well, the minion, after the minions were able to put a hole onto their base, GK will be very much happy to see the lead that they have. 7 turret takedowns, while Team Occupy has 6, 19 and 13 on the scoreboard. We might near the 25-minute mark. The teams, this game round is still going back and forth. Pass is going to be thrown out. You saw Team Occupy trying to target Sultanos, but they did not fully commit with the engage. Now is another opportunity. Hi! Hello! Tankiness! What are you doing? Now you have a D-Charge being sent out by Akali. Gatlingon being thrown out by Corky as well, but the damage is not so much from Team Occupy. Shockwave connecting onto 3. Now you have a title coming through. Shinjao saying goodbye. It is a 2-0 so far. Corky going in with this engage. Do you have the Hawk shot being sent out by Ash? Baron is still up. Team Occupy could try and get this, given that the death timers is so high from GK. The barrel being thrown out by Gragas. I thought they were going to fully commit. That is the Body Slam and Flash A connecting onto 1. They are very, very low. Here comes the cleanup crew. Ash with the arrows and Braum saying goodbye. Oriana could not even go near her. But what are you gonna do? That is an Ash. She has the enchanted crystal arrow. It is a 3-2 in the favor of GK.
No way that just happened. Everybody else from Occupy were pretty much in the wrong spot. Look at the Dominus activated.
Caldemi connecting on to none. You have the title being sent out by Nami, forcing Renekton to go back. But the kite and the damage, the auto attacks from Ash just hurts a lot. Man, the slows are connecting as well. Pika, Renekton, forced to just go back to the base and heal himself up. Super minions are spawning through. Baron still up, and GK would love to get their hands on this juicy purple worm.
For sure, because the 2 lanes are pretty much open from Occupy, and that's 6 seconds on the clock. Occupy is forced to get teleports to catch up, but they are nowhere near this. The waves are not pushed in their favor, and GK practically turned this around. They are currently in the lead. Let's take a look at that again. Everyone's low. Everyone's pretty much low. They wanted to defend the Baron area with their lives, but this play coming from Hazet with a flash body slam pretty much ended it all. And the fact that we saw, unfortunately, Corky Valkyrieing forward to be aggressive to get the burst down cost them as well. Because again, when you're up against an Ashe, the kiting when you get activated by slow. Hold on though, there's a teleport coming in. This is the siege. This is GK wanting to end the game.
Man, they just really want to close this game ASAP. A Pussycat has been used by Gragas, and they're just waiting for the opening. That is to be a lot of damage being taken by Braum. You have the Bishop connecting onto 2, but Rampage going over to Firax. Turret going down as well. And the bodies of Team Occupy, the champions, are just dropping onto the floor. Triple kill, and GK being able to bag game number 1.
What a game that we just watched. That was the most back and forth that we've seen so far in the Origin series for August. And at that point, you know, at the maybe 20-minute mark, you still couldn't tell who would have won because it was a very, very close game. You've got, what, 4K gold deficit only, and it has been a swing between these two teams, especially the Air Drake, the Elder Air Drake secure was pretty prolonged.
We have a lot of highlights in that game, but Rico, is there any specific highlight that you want to highlight from game number 1?
Well, for me, it has to be the first one. One of the first moments here is where we would expect this really beautiful shockwave coming from 2 here. He's primed in position. He's waiting for it. So many low health targets, and the ball is about to get sent just in a few seconds here. We get to see the low health targets. Of course, they're tempted to, GK is pretty much tempted to push forward. There's the ball. There's the 4-man shockwave, and it's just beautiful. And it turned things around. It's set up for the big rocket coming from Woody as well on this Corki. I know it looks a little bit messy here, but you get what I mean. That shockwave was really beautiful. I think 2 had a lot of key shockwaves in this game, but unfortunately the follow-up wasn't there. And again, they were reliant on this Olaf to get the ball delivery system on the board.
Definitely. And again, this is one of the plays that just turned things into their favor. But towards the end, GK still being able to check their win conditions. So I'm actually looking forward to what kind of adjustments. I actually don't know what should they adjust, because again, it was a back and forth game. The draft is on point. Execution is on point as well. It just falls down to the split-second decision making that makes things happen.
Yeah, I really like the way that, they secured the Braum very earlier on, expecting that Xenon would most likely pick up the Akali again. I think it's one of the really nice counters to an Akali just because of an easy stun. You're just going to get greeted by basically the passive stacks coming from the Braum, as well as the slows, and as well as the ult as well, if an Akali just dives in. And of course, the Zhonya's at the later stages of the game could be another solution. But I feel like, it wasn't really enough. We've seen how these macro decisions really tipped a lot of these, game-breaking decisions, or rather game-breaking scenarios that we saw as GK, was able to tip the scales.
I can already feel the excitement from Miku, and I can see the comments in the live that you guys really want to see game number 2 just as quickly. So I'm not gonna hold you off any longer. Let's hop into series number 1, game number 2. Who will dare to go wild in the Rift? Again, this is Team OPY versus GK. GK now up on 1 game. These are the names of the players. Do not forget to just comment the favorite player in your respective teams, just, to give them the support. So, before we hop into the pick and ban, I just love the Orianna pick. I won't be surprised if we're going to be seeing another Orianna pick, or maybe an Orianna ban. I mean, Orianna does not get banned, but we could be seeing another Orianna pick up there. Renekton's still going to be pretty much up for grabs, and of course, Akali.
I feel like just ban the Olaf. I feel like, not ban the Lulu, not ban like these pairs that go well with an Olaf. So I feel like just straight up maybe ban out the Olaf. So I'm excited to see what the adjustments are going to be, because this pick composition that GK constantly pick is just very effective. I mean, this is the same composition that was able to beat Cut Esports yesterday, and so far it was very close, but still not enough.
Now let's see what kind of effective lineup will both teams show us, because now the pick and bans are ready. Ari ban, just kidding. So we could be seeing, and I'm gonna say that until the end of the series for day number 2. But yeah, Lee Sin's still not gonna be available. They do not want to open this very strong jungler. Of course, he can isolate key targets, even burst down the marksman if given the opportunity. J4 is still gonna be banned out by GK here. Oh, Seraphine, maybe another Lulu ban?
Yeah, I think it's a possibility. Okay, again, banning out the Jarvan means that you might want to pick up an Olaf, because Jarvan is, again, a soft counter. The Ragnarok, you press Ragnarok, and then you just basically trap the Olaf with the Cataclysm. Now it's different this time. Lulu's going to be open, so GK can opt for a Lulu plus Olaf combo if they decide to do so. Now, GK banning the Braum means that an Akali pick could possibly come in for Xenon, but wait, OPY decides to take that away from them and first pick this Akali. Take note, they can still pick up a Galio as well, incredibly strong against the Akali, maybe a Garen for topside, just to get that silence against an assassin. So now Xin Zhao, though, and Corki being secured by GK.
They could already see the possible skirmish or 5v fights that Team Occupy would want to do. Now you have Wukong being locked in. At the very least, they have a Shinja for disengage. You also have Renekton being locked in by Team Occupy here. So again, overall, they want to force these 5v fights. You mentioned the Galio. Perfect counter, given that whenever Akali is gonna jump in with the 5-point striker, perfect execution, she will just get taunted. And another way to stop Akali from doing what she wants is go with the knockups, which is possible with the wild growth from Lulu.
Yeah, that means Olaf can be open as well for the last pick for GK if they decide to do so. But look at this. They've got Alistar. They've got Wukong. They've got Renekton. These are a lot of semi-beefy champions that can halt GK's onslaught. And looks like it's not going to be an Olaf this time around. It is going to be the Jax. Possibly either top side or maybe the Switcheroo. We've seen Xin Zhao play at top side as well. Level 3 could potentially be very strong. Level 5 as well with the wild growth plus the hero's entrance from the Galileo to make cross map plays. I'm excited to see this mid to late game push through, but it could be a different scenario if Xin Zhao is able to get ahead in the game.
I kind of feel bad for Xin Zhao and Galio though, because whenever they're gonna dash in or jump in, you have the headbutt ready from Alistar in the maybe mid to late game part of mid to late game time of the match. But of course, we are gonna jump into game number 2. So do not forget to place your bets. Who do you think will win in this game? Dun, 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 dun. We are at match point. As you can see, GK is up on 1 game. Will Team Occupy be able to occupy and win this game number 2? Or will GK be okay with getting away with a 2-0?
For Occupy, this is a very strong late game 5v5 as well. They can also do a 4-1 setup or a 1-3-1 setup. If 2 is able to get ahead on this Akali and Pika is able to win his lane early, then that seems to be the perfect setup because they have Woody as the late game insurance if, again, those 2 conditions I just mentioned doesn't work out. For GK once more, they have a lot of options to, again, get the numbers advantage just because of that hero's entrance, and as well as the potential level 3 spike, as well with Sultanos, and as well as Xenon. This is a very strong mid and jungle duo, so I am expecting level 3 visits in the mid lane, but it's difficult because 2 carrying a barrier, there's not an ignite, so that's a lot of defenses, and as well as how, Akali's in general are very slippery.
Very. And now we are just seeing the small skirmish here at the jungle. You know what? It's actually not small because Corky was forced to use Flash as well as the barrier. Very quick reaction from Ahmad there. He saw the opening, he saw the opportunity, and they just went for it. Now, Corky will not be able to play for on the next 120 seconds. Zakali being very, very low. Now you have Xenon being able to at least win in that small skirmish or give and take in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tanky, but look at the junglers though.
Okay, they really want to fight. Now you have a Shinja being able to jump out. Galio committing his flash, but was not able to reach out. Renekton taunts coming through, connecting onto 1. This could be the first blood going over to GK. That is going to be a kill secured by Jax, but Jax gets bursted down by Renekton. Now Xenon being targeted, double going over to Renekton. They are still at it. Team Occupy now in charge of cleanup. Triple kill going over to Pika.
And that is it. That is the first condition set for Occupy. They're able to get 3 early kills for this Renekton. And we've seen how Renektons can just spin out of control in the early game and just bully everyone else pretty much from the opposite side. And Occupy, very happy about this. Again, first 2 minutes of the game, we've managed to see, 2 getting involved as well. And it's all Ahmad here, managing to get the setups.
Headbutt and Pulverize getting onto 1. You have Corky in the safe spot of that map, but he still very low, was forced to use the Valkyrie to reposition himself, and Team Occupy will be a-okay. Have the Void Seed connecting onto 1. But now let's look back at that previous fight.
We talked about the level 3 being incredibly strong for the side of GK. But unfortunately, things weren't able to hit They already missed the taunt. It's already off cooldown. Xenon didn't have much mana on the board already. And this was Pika basically coming into the fight where everyone else was pretty much low. He's able to even get, Call the Meek with a big heal, I believe, earlier on. And he got that double buff as well. So it was painful. And he got that 3 kills. He is 1 level ahead against Hazet. So he's going to have a fun time here in this matchup.
That was actually a very good pulverize from Aman, just stopping GK from going in with the re-engage. But now it is going to be a huge lead, specifically for Team Occupy. The 2 very important objectives will be up in 23 seconds. Shinja will not be visiting the Baron anytime soon. Pika is just going to be very comfortable, will be A-okay to jump in with the recall. 95% coming through. You have the taunt, but Galio will not send that out just yet. GK, they could most likely be prepping for the Infernal Dragon take.
Yeah, it is very important. This is the second first dragon so far that we've seen in this series, and this is going to be extremely important. Now, GK, their mission is to make sure that Pika will not do anything with that lead in the 5v5s later on. They do have solutions. They do have the taunt from Xenon. They do have the wild growth as well for the disengage, but Sultanas might get caught out here.
Shinja being caught out there. Indeed, now you have the Valkyrie coming through from Corki. They are being boxed in. Knockup after knockup. And you have Renekton just penetrating the back line. Shield will not be enough. That is going to be a win going over to the side of Team Occupy. Kaisa does jump in. Was not able to get any kills, though at the very least, Team Occupy being able to push GK back. They already have first dibs on the Infernal Drake. Lulu jumping in with her first. GK not jumping in. Shinja will just have his eyes fixed on the Rip Herald.
Yeah, that could have been disastrous actually for Woody too, because he flashed forward to get an Acadian rain kill. There was too many targets. There's the flash.
Flash in and then pulverize. Corki saying goodbye. He does get annihilated, but now will they be able to go with a steal? Blue team being able to get the Infernal will be able to get that repair. Double kill going over to Akali. Lulu being bursted down by Wukong. Now you have Jax alone under turret. A rampage for Pika. Just 5 minutes in, and it's now 7-1 in favor of Team Occupy.
This is a massive start for Occupy here. All the conditions are set. You got Pika, 401, Black Cleaver already completed. 2 is able to get a big piece of that pie in the fight from earlier. As we take a look at that again. 4X was pretty much low, no mana at all, and he was basically in a vulnerable spot for a setup coming from Amma there. So the positioning from GK here was pretty much a little bit lost, and it's basically cleanup squad for what? The Akali, for 2, for Pika to get more kills on the board. Rabadon's is coming up soon, and that steal is massive because they're gonna increase more of their gold lead because of First Blood Tower.
Then we'll get more objectives onto the side, and they will most probably summon that in the mid or the Baron later on. Shinja being seen by Renekton. He's being boxed in, and now Pika. Just no other ways to describe it. He is insane. The 6 minutes in, the power that this champion has, already popping dominoes just to get out of the alive, but he is gonna be A-okay. So it was a 2-0 in favor of Team Occupy. Even Galio could not do anything there.
Yeah, Pika. The Occupy is pretty much just walking all over GK at this point. They don't care about towers. They will save the Rift Herald for the first charge at the second tier tower, most likely. Meanwhile, we've got Xenon just trying to pick up the pieces, seeing if they can equalize the map, just open up the mid lane instead. Now, Pika picking up a teleport means we're going to be expecting him just joining in the fight. The hero's entrance just to try and escape this collapse from Occupy to make sure he's safe. But actually, 2 decided to keep the Rift Herald and drop it down another day, possibly towards mid lane, as again, his own mid lane is about to fall.
Because at the very least, at the Dragon lane, you have the Kaisa and Alistar combo being able to put a significant amount of damage onto GK's Dragon lane turret. Lulu and Corki is there though, so they will just have to fall back. Honeyfruit being taken by Pika. And, well, Jax has a lot of win conditions, has a lot of conditions to meet. And the fact that he's up against a 5-0 Renekton, Hasty will not be comfortable with this matchup. Maybe he could just play it a little bit more conservatively. Just get in with the farm. He already has Borg at the very least, and just get more the defensive items in, and just join in with the team fight. Pika already had his eyes on Galio, but Galio just flashed away.
And definitely a very important flash for sure. I mean, we've seen how, wanting to set up the fights or wanting to escape using the flash after a hero's entrance has been used. So at least the mini good news is that there are no important objectives so far that you will require flash anytime soon. So I believe maybe the Ocean Drake, but this collapse towards Hazet though, as we see a 1v1 being initiated.
They could try and force this. They could try and just do have a shutdown on this Renekton, but as you can see, Rip Herald has been summoned into the Baron lane. Hasty will not cancel that recall. The Ocean Drake will be up in 12 more seconds. The men in blue, Team Occupy, will just position themselves at the mid lane, get the pick off, and then rotate over to the Dragon Pit.
Yeah, that's 2 seconds already till the Ocean Drake has spawned. There's no vision on GK's side, except that measly ward over that brush. Looks like GK just wants to push down the mid lane at least to get more breathing room. But Ahmed is there. He is going to set up for the squad as two will join him as well.
He has flash, but Akali, the first one to jump in. No actual commitment. You have the heals coming through. Now, again, GK, they need to be very, very wary of the possible engage that Ahmad would give. Now, you have a jump in. You have Renekton penetrating in the back line. Voice is going to connect onto one. Taunts coming through. He's being boxed in. Will he die? The answer is going to be yes, because he got taken down by Jax. The moment he jumped in, a shot on Renekton. Wildcraft being popped. Corky safe with the back line. You have the Twilight shot being used by Akali. Kingsby going over to his assassin. Make that a double kill. Hazet being boxed in. Sinjo saying goodbye. Now Jack saying goodbye as well. It was a 1-3 in favor of Team Occupy. Voice, you're not gonna connect. That was too close. He could have canceled the recall, but Team GK left the Rip Herald to fend for itself, and this could be the turret saying goodbye. No, but still has
not yet though. It was big betrayal from that blast cone. I think the rest of GK just wanted to run away, and GK propelled to the opposite side instead of with his teammates just trying to run away. And unfortunately, he was like the sacrificial lamb. We gotta see that again. This is a flank coming from Pika. The thing is, he got caught out without follow-up, and he got caught out with a taunt coming from the Galio. And that is the biggest thing that could just immediately eliminate you. The fact that you all have pretty much majority of the gold. And that is what we saw, the Blast Cone betrayal. The Void Seeker does not seek its prey, unfortunately, as Woody is unable to find the potential last target. Now, Hazet, another 1v1 potentially. Here, Jax hurts. Hazet hurts right there. I mean, we did see a couple of changes to Jax, and although this could be a 1v2 scenario, Ahmed is lingering around the corner. Never mind, could be a 1v3. This could be a dive.
But looks like Hasty will just he won't take the risk rather. But looking now at the mid lane, 5-point strike will dish a lot of damage. You have the jump in coming through from Akali. Now it is gonna be the wild growth being used by Lulu just to fend for herself. Now you have the Protobot being used by Galio, but you have an assassin right at your back. Galio being able to splash. He still does not have the barrier, and this could be a free Baron for Team Occupy. Jax split pushing at the Dragon lane though.
It's going to be hard because Ahmed is there zoning out. Whenever Sultanas just wants to go near, you're just going to get head-butted away out of the Baron. So the fact that Sultanas doesn't have flash either just makes things a little bit difficult. And unfortunately, this is his demise. Oh, he's fine.
He's still okay. Okay, looks like Team Occupy, they do not want the kill. They just want to get Baron, and they're gonna go in with the recalls because they finally saw Jax was able to clean out the outer turrets at the Dragon lane side. Now you have 3 members from GK storming at the mid lane. They will most likely be able to get this mid lane turret. Gatling is being sent out by Corky, throwing out a few missiles here and there, but they're actually not gonna pick a fight just yet because Amat is right there. He does not have flash. No heals as well. This could be the opening for GK.
And no flash, pulverized, I suppose, and all the knockups in the world. But Baron, now for Occupy, they're just trying to maximize this full potential. Good news for GK. They do have a decent amount of wave clear coming from the Winds of War from Xenon, and as well as Sporex here on this Corky. But is a little bit low on the mana side of things, and they're not able to reach the third dragon spawning in the next 20 seconds. And, this 4-1 setup has been working, but at the same time, they do have an answer to Pika. But, 2 is also massive. Look at this Death Rush. They are waiting. They are wanting to get a pick before this dragon. Teleport?
It is gonna come through, but can I just say that Woody is having the space that he needed. Honeypot will be taken, but you have Renekton jumping in with a dominance. I see the stuns connecting. Jack forced to flash out, but Renekton jumps in and he just exploded right at Pika's face.
Pika had teleport. He had the opportunity. So, again, Pika winning his lane, winning the massive early game meant that Hazet really wouldn't get an answer in a straight up prolonged duel, I suppose, but
3v1, are you gonna survive? You have the stun out of CCs being taken by this champion. GA is gonna be popped. Renekton, Pika, looks like this could be your end, and he does get taken down. 37 seconds with no Renekton, but it's gonna be okay because Team Occupy was able to storm into the dragon lane. Gaio, the only one left there. Knock-up after knock-up. Akali jumping at the front line, but we'll be able to pop the Twilight Shroud. You have this engage coming through. Team Occupy will just disengage. Flash being used by this Kai'Sa. Wukong does not have Flash anymore. He still has GA though. Now you have Hamad. Will you be able to save your teammate? That is going to be a no, because now you have the other members of GK just hunting this cow. That is going to be Ahmad being taken down. Item check here. It is a 14-5 on the scoreboard, but most of the lead in favor of Team Occupy.
Yeah, 3 dragons in their favor, all 3. And of course, Pika, 625, also a 2. 405 at the moment. Now is a Morelos on the board. Already has Zonias as well. So this makes 2 very confident going into the fight, activating Zonias, trying to buy some time, waiting for cooldowns, waiting for especially the Twilight Shroud. Let's take a look at that again. This is 2. Look at him. He's just going in. No care. He got stunned, actually, but is hidden in the Twilight Shroud. He's able to escape everything. But this is mission accomplished because they're able to take that tower down. And basically, Dragon Lane is open. That means the minions are just going to... Big minions are just going to passively march through there. That means, GK doesn't have much space to work with. There's pressure on that lane for them to pursue and try Baron.
Speaking of pursue, let's see if they will be able to pursue this Baron take that, of course, Team Occupy would want to get their hands on. Again, Renekton being boxed in the middle of everything. Shinjo saying goodbye. Now you have the headbutt coming through, connecting onto one. Kingsby going over to Corki. Void Seekers. Actually, no killer is being used by this Kai'Sa, being able to get the ADC for the side of GK. Double kill going over to this Team Occupy's ADC. Make that a triple kill. Gaio saying goodbye. Looking at the Dragon Lane. Jax is going to be A-okay. He's just clearing out the wave. You still have 2. He was not able to finish up that fight. Now Team Occupy just storming at the Nexus. Here's the sad thing. Jax cannot recall because Akali is right there and was able to assassinate this Baron laner. Now Team Occupy pushes this to a game number 3.
Yes, we are. We're going to game number 3. It has been very, very intense so far. And imagine, GK with their pick composition. And now they decided to opt for this mid to late game, heavy team fight, maybe with a little bit of skirmish with the Xin Zhao on their hands. But at the end of the day, it was Occupy that were able to get their win conditions down. They got Renekton so big early, and 2 being able to follow up. Therefore, the 1-3-1 setup was there for the squad.
Early games, win conditions has been checked by Team Occupy, and they just went with it. It came to a point that, yes, Renekton does get taken down, but the re-engage or the revenge kill for the side of Team Occupy is much better because the fact that GK already has skills on cooldown. There were good plays though, and I said this earlier. Space given to Kai'Sa. Early game, mid game, she was just farming. Late game, triple kill. That was the story.
Yeah, I know. It was the story, the late game insurance of the Kai'Sa, and Woody basically had free reign whenever Occupy decided to engage.
And to see more of that, let's take a look at the highlights for game number 2.
I really love
awesome
this game.
Things actually happened.
Yeah, it was an early, 3v3 over here at the Rift Scuttler. And again, it was the way that Occupy maneuvered around this fight. There were a lot of flashes off cooldown already on the side of GK. And Pika came in with the double buff. He was able to kill Hazet. Getting, again, the buff on the board, getting a lot of heals as well, is able to survive, and then getting that triple kill early. And after that, it was GK. What was their answer? They didn't have an answer at that point up against Pika.
And I guess this is just one of the moments when you see Aaron Knighton having a triple kill. Oh no. Just pray and hope for the best. On top of that, they left Akali unguarded too. And I can't stress this enough. Ahmad on this Alistar made a lot of openings, did a lot of really good initiate for Team Occupy to win the game.
You have to agree. I have to agree with you there. The fact because he provided so much peel and so much engage for the team, and they able to let Woody shine, was able to let Two shine as well, and again just served as that damage soaker, damage sponge for Occupy, and it was just really nice to watch. They were fully in control. They, again, played to their win conditions. They played around it, especially that they knew, okay, Pika is way ahead now. Let's just put him on teleport duty, and he can just basically stalk Hazet when he decides to split push elsewhere.
I was actually waiting for a very good hero's entrance from Xenon. They were sufficient entrances and initiates, but there's actually no ground-breaking initiate. So I guess that was an ultimate that ultimately got wasted. And this was the late gameplay I was talking about. The moment Kaisa realized it was late game, it was almost 6 minutes in, she just jumped in and got those 3Ks.
Yeah, there's a lot of space provided for sure. I just want to point out too, the mid laner of Occupy, and as well as, of course, on the other side we got Xenon. I think they swapped a little bit in roles. I mean, Two at the first game was on the Orianna. He was more on the utility, providing for the squad. This time around, he was one of the star players, playing an Akali, a flashy Akali at that. And now Xenon this time around played on utility, despite having a lot of amazing performances on the Akali pick. So Akali might be banned on the next game, perhaps. No one can take the Akali, or maybe just play against it. Pick the Braum, pick the Galio.
Honestly, I would just ban out the Akali. You saw a Galio being picked up by GK. Did that change anything? No. Two was just wreaking havoc in that game number 2. But yeah, I actually like the adjustments or the role swaps that the players here in the Origin series do. We do not see much of that from SEA. But of course, we are now talking about the players. Let's just hop into game number 3. This is the last match for game number 1. The Team Occupy supporters or GK supporters, do not forget to send energy, send love, send good internet connection to the team that you are rooting for. So Ricky and I talked about the possibility that Akali could be banned. Will that happen? I don't know. But aside from that, I'm beginning to see the importance of the support role. Again, Ahmad on this Alistar, as well as the other utility supports that GK has. It just babies their ADC in the early game, just to make sure that by the late game, they're these very scary monsters that you do not want to be up against.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there. There's a lot of crazy support plays we've seen, a lot of killer Nami plays, a lot of killer Alistar setups as well. So I'm looking forward to that in game number 3.
Alistar, Nami, Akali, maybe an Olaf, I don't know. Let's just hop into the pick and ban. All right, so huge possibility that they could ban out Akali unless Team Occupy has an answer to this. But I did not see that in game number 1. J4 is still not going to be available, so we could be seeing another Lee Sin Seraphine ban. There it is, Akali.
Yeah, Akali ban. Just don't let it be unleashed. Again, GK banning out the J4 means they want to play an Olaf. Means that Occupy can opt for banning out a Seraphine or a Lulu, but there's just too much open. So let's see what Occupy decides to ban. Maybe a Seraphine would be one of the safest. But GK could just opt for an Oriana as that backup to supply the team fight, the ball delivery system with the Olaf, and as well as the additional movement speed. Now, Occupy, I wonder if they want to say, okay, GK, we're ready for your Olaf pick. We're ready for your Olaf Seraphine coming in. But now GK picking this Sin Zhao first, it still could be flex at top side. So we'll see what the plan is in mind. This is going to be the first Ziggs of the series. And there's a lot of wave clear. There's a lot of mid to late game. Imagine 3-item power spike for this Ziggs. And most likely, as long as he's safe and given space, he's going to be unstoppable.
They picked up the Wukong too for the Cyclone, and for knockup after knockup, Lulu being secured by GK, plus the Ash. Finally, we're gonna be seeing more of those arrows in game number 3. Diana will be making her debut in day number 2. So let's see how Team Occupy will be able to utilize this champion.
Yeah, we mentioned this before. Okay, GK first, though. This is the pick composition that they have found success on, especially when they went up against Cut Esports. This is, again, with the arrows just swerving in towards the side lanes with a 1-3-1 setup. You get the Sin Zhao, you get the Riven, either for your top, split pushing on the solo lanes, and then the arrow will just find its prey. Seraphine just for the additional utility, shields and movement speed just to secure the kill, and there's a lot of chase. Movement speed plus volley slows can be deadly if Occupy doesn't have disengage. And you know what they don't have? They don't have disengage. This is pretty much all in. They will most likely heavily rely on this Alistar for possibly maybe headbutt peel, is soft disengage, I suppose. But at the end of the day, this team comp looks like they're ready to rumble with a lot of big AoEs like the Moonfall, like the Cyclone.
I was actually expecting a Gragas just to push the members of GK back, like what you said, given that they do not have any form of disengage. But Garrett is okay too. I mean, you have a beefy frontliner, but I would be very worried for Wukong, Diana, and Alistar. The possible combo for Team Occupy here is one of these 3 champions will jump in, the rest will follow. That makes sense. But again, you have the Encore. On top of that, not only do you have charms, you also have the stuns coming through from Riven, and Wild Growth, knockups from Lulu. So a lot of layers of CC that GK has in store for Team Occupy.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of sustain. There's disengage as well with the Wild Growth. So again, you put the Wild Growth either towards the Riven or towards the Sin Zhao just to, again, make them survive a lot more in the fights. Really high sustain. For Occupy, this is a big wombo combo. If they manage to land the Moonfall, the Cyclone, and as well as the Headbutt Pulverize, then it is beautiful. But only if they're able to layer down the CCs that they can maximize this 3-man scary jungle support and mid lane comp.
It's all gonna come down to, will they be able to just time their skills, their ultimates perfectly? I'm very much excited to see this game number 3. Can I just say that before we jump into the last game of Series 1? Yesterday, GK also lost their game number 2, but they won game number 3. Will we see a repeat or will we see a rewrite, given that they are up against Team Occupy, which is relatively a very, very strong team? So game 3 is ready. Let's hop onto that. Back into the game again. Game number 3. Champions going to their respective lanes rather. And I was honestly expecting a surprise 3 or 5 champion gank, but looks like they will not opt to that. We do have 3 champions in the Rift Herald area though, but Riven will not fall into that fate. Instead, she will just try to see if there's anyone hiding it to push and then go back to the lane.
Yeah, they just wanted to plant down vision, make sure that they're able to escort the wards safely without getting collapsed upon, because while GK doesn't have a strong level 1, it's still pretty risky to keep to just go alone and solo that planning of the ward. Anyways, though, this is going to be, again, we've got the Garen there to be the silencer. Hazet will go in, will dash in, but Pika will basically greet them with a silence, therefore no combos gonna come in. Sultanos will pretty much receive the same treatment, and that is the role of Pika, basically. Having the Devast Injustice just to finish off targets, but more importantly, the sustain, that damage soaker, additional damage soaker for the squad, and as well as more importantly, this silencer. Now I want to take a look at the bottom lane. Dual lane though, it is a non-traditional dual lane comp. They have the Ziggs, though. They don't have a problem with sieging because that's why you have the Ziggs. While you have an AP champion over there, his sieging power because of the wave clear. Oh dear.
You have, of course, Wukong lurking at the side. That is going to be a flash in. Will they be able to reach Ash? That is going to be the shields coming through. Good timing from Tamola. No one still dies. There is no casualty. You have the satchel charge being dished out by Ziggs as well. And it looks like that's going to be the Wukong just going over to the Rift Stutter after not being able to have a successful gang.
That's a pretty huge win. 4x with no flash is a vulnerable Ash. Ash, again, is a very low mobility champion, not having to just rely basically on summoner spells for safety and as well as the support. So pre-level 5 could be dicey, and that is most likely the reason why Ahmed wouldn't want to stop the pressure, just trying to linger around with the jungler like I Can Stop Cry, but looks like they're going to concede. Mid lane, though. Whoa!
That was so close. I held my breath. I thought the encore was gonna connect, but still being able to sidestep his way into safety. The hawk shot has been sent out. Yes, Diana is still alive. So both of the mid laners will just go in with the recall, but you still have the ultimate, the Moonfall available for 2.
That is the scary part, because 2 doesn't have flash, doesn't have barrier anymore, so he's going to be very vulnerable. And we know how early game Sultanos on the Xin Zhao is going to be relentless in the, I believe, the first 10 minutes of the game, where they want to keep finding opportunities, finding these skirmishes. Level 3 is incredibly strong. Now we're at the level 5 mark, at least, where you get that challenge on the board. But now we'll see if they are able to get this lane gank, because Woody has the satchel for safety. He still has complete summoner spells, so it's a little bit difficult unless you land the arrow right straight to the face, and Woody is going to be in too deep, like now.
Right on cue, 2v3, arrow connecting onto that is going to be first blood going over to Xinjiao. Zig saying goodbye, and Amma could not do anything there, but looking on the Baron lane, you have Riven trying to go up against Garen. A jump in, the ultimate is not going to connect. Instead, Hasty will be able to survive and get the smile from that win.
Nicely done 1v1 by Hazet over here. Again, Pika is there to be the great neutralizer. He's there to be the grand wall. Not make sure that Hazet doesn't get kills. Just stay safe and basically be the guardian of the top lane. But Hazet is able to win that 1v1. And now they're setting up for this dragon. There is vision coming from Occupy here, and as well as the Rift Scuttler secured. We'll see as a 5v5 could potentially ensue. We'll expect the layering of CC from the Cyclone, from the Moonfall, and the Headbutt Pulverize perhaps, or will we see an early game pick from GK and see if they can maneuver around this one?
Dragon Dance here, Encore is now up, so that's something GK could use for the initiate, but you also have Riven positioning herself, does target Ahmad here and there. Now you have a jump in coming through from the side of Team Occupy. Encore gonna connect onto 1, B-Top connecting onto 2, but there is no actual fallout. Team Occupy is just gonna focus on getting the Mountain Dragon. They are able to get the first pick. Now you have the Moonfall connecting onto None. Instead, she was the one that got bursted down by the Seraphine. Double kill going over to Xenon. Wukong saying goodbye. Now you have Ash trying to go up against this Ziggs, and with the range, with no satchel charge and no flash available, Woody just raises the white flag.
Yeah, that is the problem. You know, you try to get that 1v1 versus a consistent AD damage dealer versus, again, this AP mage, Woody on a Ziggs. And, you know, Forax will definitely win that end as long as, again, he's able to get that auto attacks down for sure. And the bombs not being able to pre-set up. Rift Herald now being started by GK, or rather by Occupy, but the rest of GK is actually nearby, so they should be a little bit careful. We've managed to see no Cyclone still available for I Can Stop Cry, so that's 1 minus ult. That's incredibly important in a team fight.
Ziggs still making his way into the Rift Herald pit. That is the headbutt from Ahmad, but the R is gonna connect onto this cow, but he was able to jump out, flush out, heals are gonna connect, and now Team Occupy, they could wait for this engage. You have the explosive minefield being laid out by Ziggs, but no one still actually dies from there. You have the wards being placed, Rift Herald going over to the side of GK.
I really love this 3-man here. You know, the Mola on the Lulu, Seraphine, and as well as with the Ashe. There's just a lot of kit, a lot of movement speed, just to try and engage with again, with a lot of poke. So this is a good answer to the bombs coming from Woody in extended dragon or objective dances such as the Rift Herald. Now the Rift Herald is secured, they do want to get First Blood Tower, therefore increasing their gold even more. Now, what is the answer for Occupy? Of course, they have the wave clear. There comes the Moonfall.
Jump in, Moonfall, no follow-up because it just was not enough. Good cancel though from Xenon, and GK will be able to jump away. Now you have Garen split pushing on the Dragon Lane side. He does get spot
Arrow
out by
coming
not
in.
just one, not just two, but 3 champions. Arrow is not going to be used just yet. Looks like Ash is going to settle with the kites. Will it be enough? That is to be a yes, actually. But the Garen will be able to at least survive that one. He does have the honey fruit.
I guess we'll take a step back on this dragon fight first. I mean, there was a potential steal. We saw that Sultanas flashed in, but didn't get the smite. And as we saw that, Occupy was able to secure that one. Look at Forax. He's 1v1ing Woody over here, and you don't have the mines anymore basically to slow down Forax to make it easier for you to land the bouncing bomb. So at that point, it was just free reign for Forax for the auto attack. Looking at the itemization, we've already seen double black cleavers as well as the board completed in Luden. So really nicely done wave clear coming from Xenon for sure. And for Occupy, for Ziggs to be incredibly relevant with the bouncing bombs, at least having that second item, Rabadons, is extremely important. Guardian's Angel being the first item for I Can Stop Cry for more of the survivability in the setups, just to make sure he's alive longer. But so far, GK has been extremely painful, and now they're searching for the picks. Again, this is their strength. They're 1-3-1, and the Crystal Arrow finding their prey.
Xenon just there at the back line. Satchel charge is going to be used by Xenon. That's going to be the headbutt connecting onto 1, but the turret is going to fall down, making for the bomb connecting onto 3. Now here comes Team Occupy. Jump in, knock up, but the cores are still pretty much alive. Now you have the Anchor coming through. Seraphine saying goodbye at the front line. You could see Diana just wreaking havoc. You have Ash being left behind. Doppelkill going over to Ziggs. He's very much happy with that trade. Cloud Drake is now up, and Team Occupy, they would get the lead here. Riven showing herself up. Will you be able to survive that team fight? It will be a 1v3. Garen jumping in with a judgment. Does have his eyes on Lulu. Jump in. Flash in. Demash and Justice. Oh no. The Justice will not be served. But now Team Occupy, they're just focus on the Dragon. I thought Riven could go with the steal, but you have the bombs being thrown out by Ziggs, and Team Occupy being very much comfortable winning that.
Yeah, it was a shield clutch rather, not the, what do you call this? Not the barrier. The Tamola doesn't have barrier, but yeah, it was such a fight where Hazet just trying to see if he can save Tamola there because Pico is just focusing hard on the Lulu. First Blood Tower will go in favor of GK though because of this Rift Herald. Even gets a second charge in the mid lane, but it doesn't change the fact that Occupy has their second dragon on the board for themselves. And still, let's take a look at what happened in that fight once more. Pretty much advanced. There were no vision actually in the Riverside for GK to see this coming. And they were pretty much caught off guard. Gotta love the cancel of the dash in against 2. But I feel like it's still not enough because the carries, Forax was pretty much down for the count, and Hazet just pretty much came from far away. Look at the clutch shield from the Damascene Justice over there. That's really nicely done, and basically saved Tamola's life.
But I actually thought Ziggs was gonna get taken out there. Now you have the headbutt pulverize, but here comes the arrow, not gonna connect onto anyone. Seraphine being chased by Diana. The Wild Growth has been popped. Mega Inferno Bomb being thrown out, but Shinja was able to evade that very, very nicely. Diana though, she does have the Moonfall, but GK, this is where their game sense kicks in. They did not want to face check that, but the Blast Cone has been popped by Diana, sending Alistar back into the Baron Pit.
Yeah, luckily, GK wasn't around to greet Ahmad, I suppose. But so far, it has been a very, maybe less air-quote chaotic game from what we see in game number 1 and game number 2. It has been a little bit more tempered. 11 minutes in, there's only 8 kills and just a 4k gold difference. For Occupy, again, they're still waiting for Woody to have that second item and third item for himself.
Polymorph head,
This
but they don't
one.
have the beach up connecting. Here comes the Anger connecting onto 2. Now you have the heals coming through as well. You have the ADC safe at the back line, but here comes Karen penetrating the back line. That is going to be the Polymorph coming through. Josh's beam pop, a jump in, the mash and justice, but now it has been served, but that is going to be the price for his own life. It will be a 1-1 in the favor of no one. Sultanos down to the last bar of his health. Seraphine jumping in with the heals and the movement speed boost. Team Occupy, they saw this opening. They would just opt to getting the Baron.
Yeah, it's a 4v5 situation. Hazet should buy teleport if they do decide to pursue this. The arrow hits.
There was no follow-up. That was so close. I thought they could get the kill onto Xenon, but that is going to be a no. Here comes the cleanup crew for GK. They're going to jump in. That is going to be the kill going over to Wukong. Knock-up or knock-up. I like how Diana was able to just isolate this Seraphine. Alistar saying goodbye as well. That is going to be Ash being safe at the back line. Jump in. Josh and beam pop it again. The bombs are too much for them to bear. Now Lulu forced to jump away. She does not have any more teammates near her. Overall, it was a 1-3 now in the favor of Team Occupy. Jump in, Moonfall, Polymorph, Wild Growth has been used, but it's still okay. Diana's still jumping in. She is gonna commit Rampage going over to this champion. Riven jumping in with the stuns though and being able to secure that revenge kill.
Now they want more. This is the second time the Baron has been canceled, basically. This is part 2 of the movie that we just watched, for 50 seconds ago. But I gotta say, I gotta hand it to Furax there. Really brave plays. He basically walked into 4 people from Occupy with no care in the world because they had the Mola nearby. Oh, he flashed so close and didn't get the port. Cancel. I'm sorry.
I don't know about you, but that's a highlight.
Yeah, that was sweaty. Oh dear. Yeah, this replay here, this is a very staggered domino effect. You know, it was Sultanas going in, but all alone. Forax going in, walking into 3 people, just passing through them, and just focusing on another target. But look at this, there's another fight.
Fight after fight, you have the knockup and Alma connecting onto 2, make that actually connecting onto 3. Now Diana jumping in with that Moonfall. You have the kills coming through for the side of GK. Diana being able to get 1 kill. Now you have Riven in the back lines. Ash being able to get 1. Diana saying goodbye. Silence, jump in, damage, volley. That is going to be Garen being boxed in. 1v3. Sustain will not be enough. And it was a 1-3 now in favor of GK.
Oh, what? As Sultanas, yeah, that is the only casualty so far. Infernal Elder Drake still not going to be on the board, but GK is able to get a lot of kills, meaning they managed to get more space to get the reset, and as well as most likely plant vision. Let's take a look at that again on what happened. The fight started around the Dragon Pit. There is that teleport flank coming from Hazet there. He's able to just basically have, again, because of that massive encore coming from Xenon, it basically enabled Hazet to just keep pursuing the backline carry, which is basically just Woody. And Hazet still close to death, but Riven, you know, especially with, you know, ability haste with a lot of cooldowns, just able to dash, get the shields in, and just bait out. Rabadon still not found in Woody's inventory, so this is Occupy still wanting to buy time, and he hits an arrow to the face.
Okay, I thought Seraphine or Xenon was gonna try and pick off Ziggs there, but at the very least, they were able to surprise Team Occupy with that ultimate. Now this could be another kill going over the side of GK. They're being boxed in yet again. Mega Inferno Bomb placed perfectly. Now Ash being able to get the jungler. Honor connecting onto 1. You have the sustain coming in from Team GK. Jump in. Another Polymorph. They are still at it. They're going being able to burst Ash down. Beat drop connecting onto 1. Killing Spree going over to Xenon, and it will be a 2-1 now in the favor of GK. They could opt with the Baron or they could pick up Ziggs. Just pick your poison here.
I mean, Woody still has enough mana, I suppose, to keep raining bombs over this Dragon Pit for GK to get scared, just retreat instead. I think that is the smart call. The fact that 2 is still pretty much alive, pretty much semi-healthy, and the rest of GK were pretty much low. So this is a good call to just retreat, back away, and look at this. 16 minutes on the clock already. Just a 3k gold difference with GK in the lead. Let's take a look at that again. It was, again, the Wukong, unfortunately, caught off guard here. Hazet again with a flank plays. 2 coming in from the side, but no setups whatsoever. Xenon pretty much separated from all this, but Pika, I think, was the biggest thing in this fight. He was just bothering and silencing everybody, and Ahmad with a beautiful setup, but again, no follow-up. We're still waiting for Woody to come online with that third item, Rabadons, and now, still none at the moment. They do have teleport, though, in their inventory, so they're looking for maybe pushing and then teleporting towards the Baron, perhaps when GK starts it.
Wukong being spotted out here by Seraphine. GA is available, so he will have a bit of a leeway just to go in with the initiate. Enchanted Crystal Arrow being sent out, but it is too far, was not able to catch anyone. Baron is still up, but the Elder Infernal Drake will be up in 23 seconds. Recalls coming through from Team Occupy. They would want to get more items in and then maybe prep for the next possible team fight. Whoever wins this will have first dibs on the dragon. So, GK? Some is gonna go with the recall, but Ash as well as Lulu just scouting the Dragon Pit.
And they want to plant Vision and D-Ward to make sure this is properly set up in the next 2 seconds. Because Infernal Elder Drake, very extremely important. Again, massive damage boost. And GK would definitely want that in their hands. Occupy, first dibs though in this area. As we see Hazet split pushing, by the way. Curious to see if he has teleport. I'm guessing he has. If he doesn't, then it's a 4v5 situation that Occupy is gladly going to take. They're now starting this Elder. There's a teleport.
You have the teleport from Riven, but Team Occupy will let the dragon go. They do not want to be distracted if ever GK will try to go with the pickoffs. And now we have a potential 5v5. No one is going to be caught out by the Bishop as well as the volley. And now both teams just doing the dragon dance.
Yeah, good news again. They have Seraphine for the heal. And basically trying to mitigate all the bombs coming from Woody. And now, again, it's a reset on the dragon, it's a reset on the waves. You see how Hazet prepped topside. So now Pika is forced to go up and clean that up. And now it is going to be a little bit of cha-cha over here in the mid lane and see who will break first, who will try to initiate first, who will break their patience. And so far, again, all ults are up. We'll see if Forex will find its prey with the arrow, find something from the side lanes as Hazet makes his way back atop.
I still have my eyes on the map because I feel that we're going to be seeing a fight. I knew it. A jump in, and it is going to be Wukong jumping in with the initiative, but you have Ash jumping in with the volley as well. And just Spinaroonie here for the side of Team Occupy. Wukong does jump in. He still has GA. He does get stunned in the XTB Mega for the bomb being thrown out, and the damage was just too much.
Whoa.
Now you have the Moonfall coming through. A shotdown on Seraphine. GK being very aggressive, but Team Occupy being able to take the jungler down. Now you have Pika in the middle of the storm. He is popping in with the
Double
judgment,
kill?
but one more arrow was the only problem for him. He still gets pressed down by this Ash. Ziggs just jumping away. Now you have Alex at the side, and that is going to be a win for GK. 1-2-2 volley as well as the attack speed from the arrows, attack slows rather, from the arrows, and now you have the Rift Scuttler being targeted. 2v1, they're still going at it. I don't think they're gonna try and take the Elder Infernal Drake, or will they?
I think they want this. They want to prevent this.
Is this a bait? I don't think so. Okay, they're gonna go with the reset. That made me question my play-by-play earlier.
I just want to commend Forax for being incredibly brave for trying to secure the Rift Scuttler despite having to face a 1v2 and be against Ahmad on this Alistar at that. That could have been an easy engage, especially you don't have flash. Let's take a look at the prolonged fight once more. It was, again, Sultana's just trying to dive in. It was, again, getting shredded out. I Can Stop Cry was shredded out. The Guardian Angel was pretty much popped. But at the end of the day, it was Woody who was practically safe at the back line. But another fight in the mid lane.
Back into the action, you have a teleport that is the bait jump in. 2 champions does get knocked up. Ash is the first one to get taken down. You have a 4 champion on court that is the BA jump in from this Riven. He is still pretty much healthy. Now, both teams are actually down on 1 champion. They do not want to press their chances. They do not want to take the risk. Elder Dragon is still up. Heals coming through. GK has a bit of an advantage when it comes to the sustain just because they have that Seraphine. But now, Wukong could try and look for a next prey, maybe. I mean, Lulu is there at the sides. Still waiting for another good play from Pika. Just one good Dimash and Justice could turn the tides around. Baron is still being untouched by these two teams.
Yeah, Infernal Drake is the thing. Infernal Drake and Felner. I'm combining words. Infernal Elder is the way to go. They do want, again, that massive damage boost. And now, GK lingering around this corner. They've got Hazed again, split pushing at top side. That wave's gonna slowly build and teleport kicking in. Half HP already to the Elder Drake. And now it's gonna possibly reset?
They don't want to risk it. They don't want to let the Felder go. So they do not want to just take their chances. You have the arrow connecting onto Gyre. Now they jump in. The pulverize coming through from this, of course, Alistar. But the layering of CC from GK was just too much. Knockups, double kill, make that a triple kill. You have the Explosive Mantle being popped by the Ziggs. Now you have a Rampage going over to Ash. Will she get the Penta? Xinjiao saying goodbye. She did not. Killingsley going over to Riven, and GK will be very much happy to win that. They do get ace, and it seems like they will be able to get game number 3. What a back and forth, but still, GK being able to get the better end of that bargain in the Dragon Pit fight. This paved their way to this victory.
Yeah, what an incredible series that we just witnessed right there. And GK comes up on top in this 2-1 finish. And this pick composition that they keep picking with the Ashe and the Seraphine and the Lulu being that 3-man, and the solo lane split with Hazed over there, and as well as Sultanos on that Xin Zhao. I love this combination. It has defeated Cut Esports yesterday, and now it took down Occupy as well in day number 2.
Man, we're seeing a lot of good combinations from this team so far. We're looking forward to seeing more from them. But yeah, still game 3 very, very close. Could have gone rather either way. But I guess you not being able to reach Seraphine, that was the problem. I still have to commend the Alistar, of course. But we definitely love that game number 3. Let's take a step back and look at the highlights.
There were a lot of exciting stuff there. I mean, the early game ganks again, the sidestep from 2 off of that encore, and it basically saved his life. And of course, it was pretty much the pick comp game that GK wanted to execute. When it comes to the 5v5s, there were a lot of successful attempts by Occupy there with a Cyclone. But early game, again, they will lack the damage. They will definitely lack the damage because Woody, they were heavily relying on consistent range damage on his side. And there is a huge influx of AP damage on the board, so it was a little bit easy to maneuver around itemization to be tankier, to survive a little bit more, just build more magic resistance, I suppose. And with that, GK just played around that and stuck with their strength, which is this pick comp.
This was actually a very good cycle coming from Wukong, but sadly, there was no follow-up. But now this is another very good highlight. So another thing I want to highlight is Ziggs, Woody. His positioning is very on point. You usually would see him in the back line just throwing out bombs here and there. You have Alisa, you have Pika at the front line. They're the ones soaking up on the damage, but towards the latter parts of the matches, the damage from Furax, from Xenon, as well as Hasty was just too much for them.
Yeah, it was a lot. I feel like, Forax from time to time would be really massive at one point, but in some instances he would push forward, be a little bit too forward, that Occupy was able to reach him. But this is one of those instances where he's able to get the perfect setup. Perfect encore, perfect wild growth as well, and perfect stuns coming from Hazed as well. And Forax just basically safe and ready, just hitting from the backline. And I feel like that's the perfect setup in, these 5v5 scenarios. And I think, GK did really, really well in this series.
In that last highlight, though, I have to say that the kill secured wink by Riven was the cherry on top for GK. And yeah, what an amazing series to start off the Origin series day number 2. That was very intense. You have been your casters. I'm Yuko alongside Ms. Riku. We are gonna hop into a very short break, but when we come back, you will witness series number 2.